In the last episode, Jesus was dragged through 6 trials in a single night. The Jewish council condemned him for blasphemy. Pilate found no fault but yielded to the crowd. Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times before the rooster crowed. And as the sun rose, Pilate handed Jesus over to be scourged. Now the punishment begins. The soldiers take Jesus into the praetorium, the inner courtyard of the governor's headquarters. The whole cohort gathers, hundreds of Roman soldiers, bored, brutal, and looking for entertainment. What follows is not merely punishment, it is political theater. Rome rules by spectacle. Every act of violence carries a message. This is what happens to those who defy Caesar. The scourging of Jesus is a public demonstration of imperial power, designed to humiliate, to terrorize, to remind every watching subject that Rome alone holds the power of life and death. They strip him of his clothing. They tie him to a post. The Roman scourge is not a simple whip. It is called a flagrum, a handle with multiple leather straps, each embedded with pieces of bone, metal, or lead. The purpose is not correction. The purpose is devastation. The first blow falls, then another, and another. The skin tears. The muscles are exposed. Blood runs down his back, his sides, his legs. Roman law limits the number of lashes for citizens. But Jesus is not a Roman citizen. There is no limit. The soldiers continue until they grow tired, or until the prisoner can barely stand. Jesus endures it. When they are finished, the soldiers decide to have more fun. They weave a crown from thorns, long, sharp thorns from a plant that grows wild outside the city walls. They press it onto his head. The thorns pierce his scalp. Blood runs down his forehead, into his eyes. They drape a purple robe over his torn back. The fabric sticks to the wounds. They put a reed in his hand, a mock scepter. Then they kneel before him in mockery. "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spit on him. They take the reed and strike him on the head, driving the thorns deeper. They laugh. They bow. They strike again. Jesus says nothing. When the mockery is finished, Pilate brings Jesus out before the crowd one last time. He hopes the sight of the beaten man will satisfy them. Behold the man, ecce homo. Pilate means it as dismissal. Look at this broken figure. What threat could he possibly pose? He is no king. He is nothing. But the words carry a weight Pilate does not intend. Behold the man. This is what humanity was meant to be. This is the image of God, marred by violence, bearing the weight of human cruelty, yet unbowed. In trying to show that Jesus is not a king, Pilate unwittingly proclaims exactly what he is. Jesus stands before them, barely able to stand, blood covering his face, the purple robe draped over ruined flesh, the crown of thorns pressing into his skull. But the crowd is not satisfied. Crucify him! Crucify him! Pilate protests again. Take him yourselves and crucify him. As for me, I find no basis for a charge against him. The Jewish leaders answer, we have a law, and according to that law he must die, because he claimed to be the Son of God. Pilate grows more afraid. He takes Jesus back inside. Where do you come from? Jesus gives no answer. Pilate's voice rises. Do you refuse to speak to me? Do you not know I have power either to free you or to crucify you? Jesus finally speaks. You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above. Therefore the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin. Pilate wants to release him, but the crowd shouts again. If you let this man go, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who claims to be a king opposes Caesar. The words strike home. Pilate fears for his position. He fears a report to Rome. He fears the mob. He sits on the judge's seat and points to Jesus. Here is your king. The crowd roars. Away with him! Crucify him! Pilate asks one final time. Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answer. We have no king but Caesar. Pilate gives in. He hands Jesus over to be crucified. The soldiers strip off the purple robe. They put his own clothes back on him. They load the crossbeam onto his shoulders. The weight is crushing. The wood presses against the wounds from the scourging. Every step is agony. Jesus begins to walk. The path through Jerusalem is called the Via Dolorosa, the way of suffering. It winds through narrow streets, past homes and shops, past people who have come to the city for the Passover festival. Some watch in silence. Some weep. Some shout insults. Soldiers walk ahead and behind. The condemned man stumbles forward under the weight of the cross. They strip him of his clothing. Somewhere along the way, Jesus falls. His body has lost too much blood. His muscles have been shredded by the scourging. His legs buckle under the weight of the beam. The soldiers need him to reach Golgotha alive. They cannot carry a dead man to the cross. They grab a man from the crowd. His name is Simon from Cyrene, a city in North Africa. He is in Jerusalem for the Passover. A pilgrim who did not expect this day. They force him to carry the cross. Simon lifts the beam. He walks behind Jesus. He does not understand what is happening, but he carries the weight. As they continue, a group of women follows, weeping and mourning. Jesus turns to them. He finds the strength to speak. Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children. For the time will come when you will say, Blessed are the childless women, the wombs that never bore and the breasts that never nursed. Then they will say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, Cover us.
For if people do these things when the tree is green, what will happen when it is dry? The words are strange and sorrowful. They speak of a coming destruction, a judgment on the city. Within 40 years, Jerusalem will fall to the Romans. The temple will be destroyed. The people will be scattered. But for now, the women can only weep. The procession moves on. 2 other men walk with Jesus. They are criminals, condemned to die the same death. 1 on each side, Jesus in the middle. The sun climbs higher. The heat presses down. The streets grow steeper as they approach the edge of the city. Finally, they arrive. A hill called Golgotha, the place of the skull. It is a small rocky outcrop just outside the city walls, visible to all who pass by. The Romans choose this place deliberately. Crucifixion is not just punishment. It is public warning. It is terror made visible. They strip him of his clothing. They lay the crossbeam flat. They stretch out the arms of the condemned, and they take up the nails. The journey is over. The crucifixion is about to begin. Thank you for listening to this episode about the scourging of Jesus and his journey to Golgotha. If this dramatized retelling was meaningful, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and sharing it with others who might appreciate this series. In the next video, Jesus will be nailed to the cross and lifted up on the hill called Golgotha, where he will hang between heaven and earth as darkness covers the land.